The first question. I feel too lazy to think of a question. What to do? It cannot be true that you really feel too lazy. Otherwise, who has written this question? A man was lying down on the couch of a very famous psychoanalyst, and he was continuously talking about his failures in life. Failures of all kinds, in all directions. He was trying to prove that he is an utter failure, the ultimate in failure, that there is nobody in the world who is more of a failure than he is. The psychoanalyst listened to him silently as long as he could tolerate. Then he said, "Stop all this nonsense. You cannot be such a failure." The man said, "Why?" The psychoanalyst said, "If you were a failure, you would not be able to afford my fee. If you can afford my fee for years, and I am the most expensive psychoanalyst in the world, how you can be a failure?" You can ask such a beautiful question and you think you are lazy, and still you are asking what to do. If you are really lazy, you should ask what not to do. Lazy you can be, but at least be consistently lazy. Either you are a philosopher or a Pollock. In fact, both are synonymous. If you like big names, beautiful words, then think of yourself as a philosopher. In the past, particularly in the Middle Ages, many mystics used the word philosopher for philosopher, and they were right. If you want to be down to earth, then the fact is that you are simply a Pollock. Philosophers are expected to ask such things. Centuries after Hamlet had told us what the question is, to be or not to be, Gertrude Stein's deathbed utterance became a familiar quotation. Remember it when you are dying. Just before dying, she opened her eyes and said, "What is the answer?" The people who were around her were a little bit puzzled. How one can suddenly ask, "What is the answer?" when even the question has not been mentioned. Somebody gathered courage and responded to Stein's remark, "But we don't know the question." She smiled her beautiful smile and said, "Okay, then what is the question? Neither the question is known, nor the answer is known. And you need not do anything. If there is no question at all, it is simply far out. Why create trouble for yourself? Why hanker for trouble? If there is no question, you have attained the answer. No question means the answer. You are not here to ask questions. I am not here to answer your questions. You are here to be ready to destroy all your questions. I am here to go on hammering on your questions so that they are settled. I will not give you any answer. I will only destroy your questions. And a moment comes when there is no question, no answer. And that is the state of samadhi. That is the state of ultimate consciousness. When words disappear, thoughts disappear, knowledge disappears, ignorance disappears, when only pure consciousness is left. Just like a mirror reflecting that which is. Just like this moment, a silent pause. You can hear the traffic noise. It always happens. That's why the mystics say the existence is such a harmony. You can hear the birds. You can even hear the silence, this throbbing of the heart. This is the state which we are searching for. Not for questions, not for answers. The philosopher was at his favorite occupation, lying in the sun. The flies buzzed around and settled thickly on his face, but he was too lazy to shoo them away. Finally, a hornet lit among the flies and stung his nose. This was different. He slowly wiped his hand across his face. As long as some of you won't behave, he muttered, all of you will have to get off. And questions don't know how to behave. They are all hornets lit among the flies. Your answers are like flies, and your questions are like hornet lit among the flies. They all have to be wiped off. The mind has to be utterly emptied. The empty mind is the Buddha mind. But if you don't want to be a philosopher, if you are not interested in wiping off all the problems, all the questions, then you can be a Pollock. That is the same in a more grass way. The philosopher is subtle, the Pollock is grass, but they belong to the same ladder. The Pollock may be the lowest rung and the philosopher the highest rung, but the ladder is the same. Frankowski showed up at the practice field to try out for the high school football team. What position do you want to play? Asked the coach. Quarterback, answered Frankowski. The coach handed him a football and said, do you think you can pass this ball? Hell, said the Pollock. If I can swallow it, I can pass it too. A journalist visiting a local penitentiary in the heart of Poland is being shown around by Warden Poltowski. As they enter the maximum security block, the reporter is surprised to hear a shout from one of the cells, 22, followed by raucous laughter from all the other cells. Another voice then shouts, 43, which is again followed by loud outbursts of laughter. What is going on, Warden? Asked the bewildered journalist. It is quite simple, really, replies the warden. These fellas have been in this block so long that they know each other's jokes. So now, when someone wants to tell a joke, he simply shouts out the number. Everyone remembers the joke and laughs. Quite a good idea, really, remarks the reporter, as the number 37 is called out and followed by peals of laughter. Then there is a loud 17 and then silence. Puzzled by the lack of response, the reporter asked the warden what went wrong. That was Jakubowski in cell 8, sighs the warden. He told it wrong again. An American, a German and a Pollock were going on safari. They split up in the morning and met again in the evening. Sitting around the campfire, they started telling of their adventures. The German says, I saw 2 tigers, an elephant, and some apes. The American, I saw much more, 6 crows, 4 tigers, and about 3 elephants. They both look at the Pollock, who is saying nothing at all. What about you, Polonsky? They ask. I saw 67 no-nos, he says. Although the American and the German had quite a bit of experience in the jungle, they had never heard of such an animal. What is a no-no? They ask. Well, Polonsky replies, they are about 6 feet high, black, curly hair, big lips, and when you point your rifle at them, they shout, no, no. You need not be a philosopher. You need not be a Pollock. Just be a sannyasin. And to be a sannyasin means not to be bothered about questions and answers. The whole process of sannyas is getting rid of mind. Mind consists of questions and answers. The moment you get rid of the mind, then only consciousness is left in its purity, not even a ripple. The lake is so silent, so unperturbed, so still. It starts reflecting the stars, the clouds, the moon, the trees, the flowers, the birds on the wing. There is a Zen saying that the birds have no desire to be reflected in the lake. The lake has no desire to reflect the birds, but it still happens. The birds are reflected. The lake reflects. Although the desire exists neither on the parts of the birds nor on the part of the lake, in this desirelessness, everything happens, nothing is done. And a sannyasin has to relax to that total state of let go when everything happens and nothing is done. Much happens, miracles happen, but don't ask me what to do. Ask me only one thing: how to get out of the old rut of the mind. And it consists of question and answers. It's the question answer game. Slip out of the mind like a snake slips out of the old skin. The mind is always old. It belongs to the past. It is not in the present. It has no future. Mind means the past, the dead. Mind is like a rear view mirror in the car. If you go on looking in the rear view mirror continuously, you are bound for a great disaster, because the car has to go ahead and you will be looking in the rear view mirror to the road that you have already passed, to the dust on the road that you have raised. And that is not the way where you are going. And where you are going, you are not looking at. The disaster is absolutely certain. And this is happening in everybody's life. You go on reading the Vedas, that is looking in the rear view mirror. 5,000 years have passed, and still you go on looking at the Vedas. You go on reading the Bible. You go on reciting the Quran. You go on discussing about Kanad, Kapil, Aristotle, Plato, Confucius, Motazu. But all this is sheer wastage of time. Look at the present. This very moment, God is within you and without you. And if you can live this God in total serenity, in total attunement, at-one-ment, you would have known the ecstasy that I am talking about, the bliss, the benediction. The second question. God knows I would never wish to contradict my master, but the other day you went too far. You said that all the enlightened ones have been Italians in one life or another. No doubt about you. Our Jesus, our Buddha, Lao Tzu, or even Nanak and Raman, but Krishnamurti? My God, how can you honestly assert that someone so sane, so sober like Krishnamurti has ever been an Italian? We hope you apologize. Swatanta Sarjano. In fact, I myself, Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Nanak and Raman may not have been Italians at all. Hence still the attraction. I love the Italians. That is proof enough. I have never been an Italian before. But Krishnamurti, it is absolutely certain that he has been an Italian, and not only in one life but many lives. Otherwise, how he can be so sane and sober? The Italians have done so much damage to him. He has not been yet able to recover. He is still under the impact. He is so much afraid of laughing. Somebody may discover that he has been an Italian. His seriousness is just the other extreme. I can understand, Sarjano, your question, because Krishnamurti is deadly serious about things. That is one of his flaws. A totally enlightened person cannot be so serious. Seriousness is a disease of the mind. When the mind is no more there, seriousness has no ground to stand upon. But Indians have respected seriousness very much. A long tradition. And Krishnamurti has been brought up by very serious people. The Theosophists. That whole bunch of Theosophists were very determined to show to the world that they are the only spiritual people. Their whole investment was in proving to the world that they have come to redeem the world of all its problems, illnesses, diseases. They were bound to be serious. When you are a savior, you cannot joke around. You have to destroy your sense of humor absolutely. You have to be continuously concerned about the misery and the suffering that people are passing through. And when people are passing through so much suffering, how can you laugh? How can you enjoy? How you can even smile? That will be cruel. The Theosophists had this idea, a very ancient idea. It has clouded many people's beings. They wanted to redeem the whole world. In fact, it is nobody's business to redeem the whole world. And who has the right to redeem anybody else? If the other person is enjoying his dream, you have no right to wake him up. At least his permission is needed. At least you have to ask him. Unless he wills, you have to keep off. It is interference. Maybe for his own good. But who are you to decide? If somebody chooses hell, then it is his freedom to choose it. You can feel compassion for him. You would have liked him not to choose hell, but what can you do? Who are you? But these saviors of humanity are bound to be serious people. They are bent upon, whether you want it or not, they will force you into paradise. They will not leave you alone. And the Theosophists were preparing for a great event to declare a world teacher. They had chosen Krishnamurti to be the Messiah. Of course, they conditioned him in every possible way. They made him, regimented him, disciplined him for so long that the traces of it have not left him yet. The wounds are still there. For 25 years continuously, he was in this wrong company. To look into the training of J. Krishnamurti will help you, Sarjano, to understand why he is so serious. He was never allowed to move with ordinary children, to play with them, to laugh, to giggle, to climb the trees, to swim the rivers, to fight, to be beaten. He was never allowed to do anything every child has a right to. His childhood was completely crushed. He was only 9 years of age when he was taken away from the parents. The father was a poor clerk, so poor, and the mother has died. And he was not economically in a situation to teach his children. He had two boys, Nityananda and Krishnamurti. Seeing that the Theosophists are interested in the children, he was thrilled. A great opportunity was opening up. They will teach him, not only in ordinary schools. They were promising that they will teach him in Oxford, in some very special schools meant only for royalties. They will take him around the world. They will arrange for private tutors the best possible. What more the poor father could have desired and dreamt. He willingly gave the children to the Theosophists. And then a long struggle began between the father and the Theosophists, because when the father became aware what they are doing to the child, to his children, he was aghast. He could not believe, because they were forced like slaves. 3 o'clock in the morning they had to get up. Then reading of his scriptures, Tibetan, Chinese, Japanese, Sanskrit, and they were almost asleep, repeating in their sleep. Even in the sleep they were not allowed a normal kind of sleep. They will be sleeping, and the man who was in charge, lead beater, will go on repeating silently in their ears sutras, scriptures. That was the first experiment of teaching children through hypnosis. Now it is a recognized scientific method, particularly in Russia. Hypno teaching is becoming very prevalent. Children can be taught. Even there is no need for somebody to sit by their bed. Just earphones can be put, and the tape recorder can go on repeating silently, very whisper-like, so their sleep is not disturbed, but still the message can go on penetrating to their unconscious. Even in their sleep they were not allowed freedom to dream. Even their dreams were controlled. You will be surprised to know dreams can be controlled. Your dreams can be managed by others. For example, when you are falling asleep, a certain program can be given to you for the whole night, that these will be your dreams. And those dreams can be manipulated from the outside also. For example, you can be told while you are falling asleep, there comes a moment, an interval, when you are not awake and you are not yet asleep either. Just in between, that boundary line is the most sensitive part of your existence, because you are changing the gears from one gear to another gear, and before you change gears you have to pass through the neutral gear. And when you are in a neutral gear, anything can be put into your head. That's the whole secret of hypnosis, the neutral gear. That is the time when you are absolutely vulnerable. You cannot defend, you cannot argue. So lead beater, Annie Besant and others were sitting around when Krishnamurti will be falling asleep, waiting for the moment, indications, and there are very simple methods to know whether the child is in the interval or not. Once they see, for example, the child can be showed, or anybody, any person can be told that go on looking at the roof continuously without blinking your eyes. A moment comes when eyes become glassy. They are seeing and yet not seeing. That is the time when the natural gear has come into existence. The wakefulness is gone, the sleep is yet to come. It is the evening time. The day is no more, the night is entering. Most vulnerable, most sensitive. Put anything and it will go directly to the very heart of the child. It will condition the child deepest. So they were conditioning the child, even managing their dreams, telling the child that you will be dreaming of a great desert. For miles and miles there is nobody. Sand and sand and sand, and you go on and on. And then you can help the dream from the outside too. You have put the inside seed, then just a little heating near the feet, and the child will start dreaming about the desert, because the heat near the feet will give him the feeling as if he is walking in hot sand. A little heat near the head and he will feel he is under the hot sun. And you have triggered. You have done both the things. You have put the idea in the unconscious and you have triggered the process from the body. The child is bound to dream about the desert. And of course he will follow the program that you have given. This way Krishnamurti was conditioned while awake, while asleep. He was moved from one country to another country. He was never allowed to become friendly to anybody. He had no friends. How he can know what laughter is? He was never allowed to fall in love with a woman, with a girl. How he can know what laughter is? And the people he was with were really a strange group of people. This lead beater was a homosexual. He was not interested in women, and hence he was very much against women. And he was found in very suspicious postures with Krishnamurti, a small child. When the father became aware of what is going on, he went to the court. The case went on for years in the High Court of Madras. The father proved in every way that Leadbeater is a homosexual. He produced witnesses who had seen him doing wrong things with his children. But then Leadbeater escaped from India. And before the court could decide that the children should be returned to the father, Annie Besant escaped with the children outside India. The father could never get the children back. Nityananda, the elder brother, died because of all this kind of work that was being done upon them. When he was suffering from delirium, they were thinking he is being taught by a great spiritual master, Skutuhumi, etc. That he is being transformed by the spiritual hierarchy. And that is all bullshit. There is no spiritual hierarchy, nothing. Even Gunakar has started writing about spiritual hierarchy. He has issued letters and messages to all UN members And they must be thinking that I must be behind it because my name, my picture is on his letterhead. And Gunakar goes on suggesting them that there is a spiritual hierarchy working in the world. First he used to call me master, now he calls me elder brother. I am waiting, sooner or later he will call me dear younger brother. He is rising higher in the hierarchy. Now I am just an elder brother. It will not be a surprise if one day he writes, my dear son. Leadbeater was the greatest cunning person who was trying to manipulate these small children in the name of some hierarchy. He was writing books in the name of Krishnamurti. He has written a book, The Past Lives of Al-Kayoni. Al-Kayoni is a fictitious name for Krishnamurti for many, many lives. Because in each life there will be a different name. So Al-Kayoni is just a fictitious name for all these lives, thousands of lives. And he wrote, and they were all signed by Krishnamurti. And now Krishnamurti says that I don't remember at all. When I wrote these books, when I signed even, I know nothing about them. They were all written by Leadbeater. In fact, a child of 10 or 12 years cannot write those books. He cannot have any such stupid ideas. No child can be so stupid. And all this spiritual jargon. And then finally, Leadbeater and his colleagues started writing a very famous book which became a world famous spiritual treatise at the feet of the master. And that too was published in the name of Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti simply says he knows nothing about it. These 25 years of all kinds of unnecessary torture, no ordinary life available. He was not allowed to walk in the gardens where people were there. He was not allowed to meet and mix with people because he was the world teacher. How can he mix with ordinary human beings? Naturally, he has lost all sense of humor. It is sad. And because that idea of world teacher, although he renounced the idea finally, that is the only good thing that he has done ever in his life. He renounced the idea that I am a world teacher, but that renunciation was only superficial. It never came through his innermost core. Deep down, he continues to be the world teacher still. That's why he becomes very angry if you don't listen to him. He even starts hitting his own head. Even talking to people, if they don't understand him. And the way he talks, it is so monotonous, it is so boring, that unless somebody is doing some research on boredom, nobody can be interested. And people cannot understand. Then he starts beating his head, shouting, becomes enraged. But the whole idea deep down is to redeem the world. If you don't understand me, it doesn't matter. It is your freedom. It is my freedom to talk. It is your freedom to understand or not to understand or to misunderstand. How I can decide for you? I cannot be enraged. Even if you all fall asleep, I cannot be enraged. I will have a good laugh. Even the idea of giving so many people a good morning sleep is such a consolation that one is doing some service to people. You say, Sarjano, that Krishnamurti, my God, how can you honestly assert that someone so sane and sober like Krishnamurti has ever been Italian? For me, to assert anything honestly or dishonestly makes no distinction. Whatsoever is right at the moment, honest or dishonest, right or wrong, true or untrue, I believe in Gautam Buddha's definition of truth, that which works. If dishonesty works, perfectly okay. I am a non-serious person. These are also serious things, honest. Why should I be honest? Things should be taken playfully. So what is wrong in being dishonest once in a while, just for a change? And you say, so sane and sober. If a man is 100% sane, then he is insane. Something of insanity is a basic ingredient of real sanity. Zorba the Greek says to his boss, everything is right in you, only one thing is missing, a little touch of madness. A man without a little touch of madness is flat like a flat tire. A little bit of madness brings some spice to your life, some color, some intensity, some passion, some dance, some celebration. Krishnamurti, even if he enters paradise, will remain sane and serious. I don't think he will be welcomed there. He will start talking about the same things he has been talking on the earth for 60 years. And he will beat his head because even the angels are not going to listen to him. Angels don't listen to spiritual discourses. Their whole work is playing on their harps, sitting on the clouds and shouting Alleluia. They will fit with me perfectly. But can you think angels playing on their harps Alleluia and dancing around Krishnamurti? He will commit suicide. All this Alleluia. And the whole world has to be redeemed. And everybody is suffering, and these fools. But I can enjoy. I may start even learning how to play on the harp. I have even tried a little bit. Just in order to be ready at least. So I am not absolutely an outsider there. But if he is so sane and sober, it must be spaghetti that has gone in his head. Too much spaghetti in the head. makes people very sane and sober. And you asked me, we hope you apologize. I have never done that thing. And I am never going to do it. That is not my way. I never repent. I never apologize. For what? I am doing my thing. If somebody feels angry, he can do whatever he wants to do. He can shout at me. He can condemn me. There is no problem for me at all. In fact, I enjoy all this. Whenever people become interested, this is a kind of interest. If somebody is offended, I rejoice. Because a connection has been made. Not a very good connection. But a connection is a connection anyway. If it is bad today, tomorrow it can be good. Mrs. Carboti went to the doctor complaining of fatigue. After the examination, the doctor decided she needed a rest. Can you stop having relations with your husband for about 3 weeks? He asked. Sure, she replied. I got 2 boyfriends who can take care of me for that long. That's why I like the Italians. They are so human, so truly human. Giovanni said to his daughter, I'm no like that Irish boy taking you out. He is a rough and common, and besides, he is a bigger dumbbell. No, Papa, replied the girl. Tim is the most clever fella I know. Why you say that? We have only been dating 9 weeks and already he has cured me of that little illness I used to get every month. A vet goes to Giuseppe's farm to artificially inseminate his cows. While there he gets an urgent call to another farm. He decides to give Giuseppe this syringe and explain how to do it, then rushes off. A little while later, the local parish priest doing his rounds knocks on the farmer's door. Perino opens the door and the priest asks where his father is. He's down at the cow's shed, replies the little boy, but it is better not to go there. It is the 3rd time that he tries to inseminate the cow and he is swearing like hell. What? What are you saying? Says the priest. Oh my God, and does your mother know what he is doing? Of course, replies Pairino. She is the one who keeps the cow's fanny open and shouts, Come Anna, Giuseppe, this is the time you will make it. Now these beautiful Italians, who cares about enlightenment? A teacher was getting acquainted with her 4th grade pupils by letting them get up and talk about the best thing they did during the summer holidays. And you, Johnny? Asked the teacher. Well, I played with my train set, reported Johnny. What about you, Gloria? We took a wonderful trip to the mountains for the whole summer, said Gloria. And you, Lisa? Asked the teacher of little black Lisa. likes to fuck, reported Lisa. Ah, Lisa, what a terrible thing to say. I want you to go home and not return until you have a note from your mother informing me that she is aware of what you have said, demanded the teacher. 2 days passed before Lisa finally returns to the class. Do you have that note I asked you to bring, Lisa? Asked the teacher. No, teacher. I ain't got no notes. I told Mama what I said, then I told Mama what you said, and Mama said that if somebody don't like to fuck, they must be a cocksucker, and she don't want to correspond with your kind. The third question. Please tell us few more Murphy Sutras and few Murphy anecdotes too. The Murphy Sutras are really beautiful. The first sutra. If wives were good, God would have won. Second, some people are born silly, some people acquire silliness, and some fall in love. Third, after man came woman, she has been after him ever since. Fourth, be thrifty when you are young, and when you are old, you will be able to afford the things that only the young can enjoy. Fifth, never miss an opportunity to make others happy, even if you have to leave them alone. Sixth, heredity is something people believe in if they have bright children. Seventh, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, eat spaghetti. Eighth, some men have no solution for any difficulty, but will find a difficulty for any solution. If you don't believe in this 8th sutra, you can ask Ashish. He is the perfect personification of this sutra. He has no solution for any difficulty, but you give him any solution and he will find difficulty. Ninth, there is no time like the present for postponing what you don't want to do. 10th, teamwork is essential. It allows you to blame someone else. 11th, you can make it foolproof, but you can't make it damn foolproof. 12th, the height of futility is to tell a hair-raising story to a bald man. 13th, what is dumber than a dumb Italian, a smart Indian? 14th, Adam was the happiest man on earth. Eve's mother never told her nice girls did not do it that way. 15th, you can't get there from here, and besides there is no place else to go. And few anecdotes about Murphy. The first, I am getting more and more absent-minded, said Murphy to few of his cronies. Sometimes in the middle of a sentence, I. That fellow Bobo is so rude that this morning he was snoring in the church. Yes, I know, said Murphy. He woke me up. Murphy had recently become a father of triplets. The minister stopped him on the street to congratulate him. Well, Murphy, he said, so the stork smiled on you. Smiled on me? Exclaimed Murphy. He laughed out loud. One friend met Murphy at the station. Where are you going? The friend asked. To Paris for my honeymoon, said Murphy. Without your wife? Listen, when you go to Munich, do you take beer with you? One Sunday morning, the preacher was ill and could not come to the church to perform his duties, so Murphy was doing his work. He was urging his congregation to sing. Now is the opportunity for all of you, gifted with wonderful voices, to show your gratitude towards the Lord. And for all of you without good voices, this is the time to get even with Him. Murphy came home an hour earlier than usual and found his wife stark naked in bed. When he asked why, she explained, I am protesting because I don't have anything to wear. Murphy pulled open the closet door. That's ridiculous, he said. Look in here. There is a yellow dress, a red dress, a print dress, a pantsuit, high crease, a green dress. And the last, the son was sitting at the bedside of the elderly gentleman Murphy, who was dying. Where do you want to be buried? The kid asked. In Forest Lawn or Hillside Memorial Park? The old man cracked up his elbow and answered, surprise me. Enough for today.